Let's get it. Hi, America. How are you this evening? Oh, me? I'm doing quite well. Thank you for asking. I'm going to let you know right now. That humble shit is out the window right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the most ignorant podcast I could possibly put together this evening because I've been waiting on this shit all day. I want to shout out the unofficial sponsor. We got a brand new bottle, folks. So I'm going to crack it open right now.
And I'm going to finish mine, you know what I'm saying? Let's just go ahead and yeah, we're going to pour that nice and full tonight. We're going to, America, normally it's a half. We're going to pour that bad boy up. I don't think it'll be long before we out of here, but
listen.
I'm sorry, I don't normally talk in the intro.
No, you're good. I'm not doing a cup tonight. After all I had to go through, we not doing a cup tonight. Listen, folks. You know who we are. I'm going to do the intro anyway. I'm going to introduce the show anyway, and then I'm just going to word vomit every egotistical asshole thing I could possibly let out about the University of Alabama, Northwestern University, Michigan State University, Ohio State University, the entire Pac-12, and just for shits and giggles, the WAC. Why not? Ladies,
all right, well, I'm going to let you know right now. I'm cool with just about everything you said. I am warning you right now, and I am warning all of America. We will not be taking shots at my team the way that you shouldn't take shots. You can take shots the right way, but we're not going to take the wrong shots because I'm gonna try to stay composed. And you, America, you have seen me be humbled on this show. Okay, it's happened before. I am very good at just taking it. But if I start to see words get put in my mouth, I was already privy. Yes, I'm using a high school level word here. Is I got to look at Von Miller warming up before he's going to talk all this trash that I have to agree with. You know, a lot of things he's going to say about Alabama. But Northwestern is on the table, but certain parts are off the table. I'm telling you right now, there's a reason why I'm smiling. Normally, we probably wouldn't be doing this show, but we're doing this show for a reason because I'm smart enough to know exactly what I say on wax. So the floor is back to you. Have a ball, man, because I tell you what, that's why it says Alabama is undefeated under him today, because that was a whooping. That was a phenomenal performance. I'm going to start there. I'm not going to take anything away from his team. I'm sorry, sir. I've already cut into some of your time. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am that 98 wearing, 17 national championship having, revenge tour bus driving C. Turner. Matter of fact, just for the night, I'm going to let you call me what they call me in Bama. I'm CT tonight, all right? CT98. CT98, it was on the back of the truck and everything. So tonight, I'm just CT98, baby. That's all it is, the sex symbol, the sex scandal himself. And my right-hand man who represents the Harvard University of the Midwest, the academics before athletics, the participation medal award winning, James Madison Walton the third.
There he goes. There it goes.
Big game James, baby. What's up?
Hey,
how was your Saturday?
Hey, man. You know, in all honesty, man, it's not as good as yours. I wish I could be taking stills of you every time you drink that. You should see your face. That should be the official. I know they are unofficial sponsor, but officially, the face you made with no shirt on, with that. Screwball should put that on every bottle and sell that. I'm telling you. But
I'm so happy right now.
What? Obviously, we'll get to me. I think you're going to easily get to me. I just know you're going to go about it the right way at first, and then you're going to go off the rails, and that's when I'm going to step in and prove once again to some of our fans that I am black, because it comes out when I drink too much Hennessy. Obviously, the Hennessy files they're on deck.
Yeah, that's there.
They're on wax. But you know what? All things considered, I think we're right where we thought we would be in Northwestern land. All 5 fans. There's not too many. There are not too many people that claim Northwestern football that I know.
There's you, Oprah, Michael Wilbon, and that's about it.
I mean, could you go back to that first name after me? I mean, you could actually put me behind that, but who'd you say first?
I put you in front of Oprah. That's what I did.
I mean, that's high praise, but at the end of the day, I will always say this. I've been saying it for years. Oprah. It shuts everything down because honestly, what there is no defense of that. I'll tell you right now, them 17 titles are dope. Like, I'm not gonna sit here in front. Those are Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers, New York Yankees, it's them type of numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's call spade a spade. That's like the Edmonton Oilers when they had Wayne Gretzky in the 80s, like them type of numbers. But, I'm going to preference everything. Every attack that comes to Northwestern is going to come back to this, Oprah. But, I mean, I think you're having too much fun because I think I know what you want. Listen, I was able to really kind of watch the Alabama game through highlights. I was at work for the most, watched pretty much when the score was 17-13 in Northwestern's when I got locked into some college football. But I'm going to give Chris Turner his roses right now immediately. He was the one that said episodes back, I'm not worried about our team with Jalen Waddle. I still am because that's just me. But I want to give credit to, I think, was it Michi?
Michi the third, baby.
Yeah. Michi, like that little slot guy, he's making Chris Turner look really good right now. So definitely a shout out to him. Devontae Smith's been on a tear. He's basically played himself into the top 12 draft pick conversation now. So good for him and being able to still do what he's doing, even though he's getting the majority of coverage. Mac Jones look, somebody posted Chris, and I'm going to be honest with you. I liked him last year. It's just easy to bash on you because of everything that was happening in the SEC. I can get behind this kid because I've already saw, should we just tank in Chicago and just get Mac Jones? And I'm like, it might be the best quarterback prospect we've ever drafted. Since Cade McNown. Hey, Cade McNown, he wasn't very good for us, but at least he was a legit quarterback prospect back in he was legit, you know what I'm saying? But Mac Jones is he's really, to me, based on everything that's happened, you have to say he's right now winning the Heisman race right now. I would have to say that. Because that was phenomenal performance. He came back and got revenge from last year. The defense played lights out. Bo Nix is, man, Auburn's. I think this is it for Gus. They might want to go get Cam's dad there to start recruiting or something, coach him. I don't know. But man, I wanted to start with roses, man, because you definitely talked about guys. You talked about guys that were already there that you probably knew of that I didn't know of, and they've stepped up and they've played good football. And they're in their side of the division, which is the weaker side, and they're handling their business. And that's what you're supposed to do when you're number one team. You're supposed to win that game the way they did it. So let's start with roses. And I just feel like there's so much space. I'm waiting for this avalanche to come. So I figured I might as well just start positive before I start throwing some rain on your parade.
Let me just go into it. Let me just go into it. Let me go into it. So, Lil Tua transferred to Maryland, and the dynasty was dead because Lil Tua left. I said,
and by the way, who put the pause on Lil Tua? Week 1.
Lil Tua did get them hands handed to him by the academic school in Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah, that's right. We are student athletes.
So Look Tua left. Okay, whatever, fine. He transferred over to another Alabama assistant. Lil Tua's doing well. All right. Jalen went down. I said, don't worry about it. We're still about 4 or 5 deep at receiver. Granted, none of them are Jalen. But if you combine them, they are a decent substitute. I said that. All right.
100%.
You got Mac Jones, the quarterback. Oh, well, he's not Tua. He's not Hurts. No, he's not. But if you look at some of our most successful years when we dominated the college football landscape, our quarterback was not a 5-star recruit.
But see, right there, you're doing the wrong thing because he's played better than any of them guys. So you're talking about the Greg McElroys, the A.J. McCarrons of the world. Mac Jones has played way better than any of them guys have ever played.
But that's what I mean. When you have a quarterback who isn't for instance, with Tua and Jalen is honestly one of the top 10 high school quarterbacks to come out of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. Tua is, at the time he came out, was ranked like number 1 or number 2 as the top prospect coming out at that time, period.
Yeah, I think he's the most coveted, maybe the most coveted quarterback out of Hawaii ever. And
yeah.
That was a big battle for them to get to him because of Jalen Hurts being there. So, yeah.
So, with all that being said, only reason I compare him to McElroy and John Parker Wilson and all those guys is because before this year, the rap on Mac Jones was he's a game manager. I can name 5 quarterbacks right now in the NFL who have made Hall of Fame careers out of being game managers and turned it into something else. So with Mac, he's not a game manager because he doesn't mind stretching the field. He doesn't mind going for the home run shot. The reason why he's a game manager is because he won't make a stupid decision. And if that makes you a game manager because you won't make a stupid decision, be a game manager then.
I'd like to know who you talking to about all that, because whoever's saying that about Mac Jones is stupid. Because it definitely wasn't me. I ain't calling no game manager. Did I call him a game manager? Is that on wax anywhere?
No, that's not you. That's not you.
I know I'm not dumb enough to say that, considering my football IQ is like, if I was a Madden rating, my football IQ is well within the 90 to the 99 range. I would know better than that. I watched too much Alabama football last year, especially when Tua went down. I was watching every week.
Yeah.
To know that kid could play. It just was it was nobody was beating Joe Burrow. And that was what I was trying to hammer home to you. It didn't matter what happened that year. So it was one of those nice blips of a year to where, basically America, I wish we'd have started the podcast last year because it was like, basically wouldn't have been a lot of college football talk because Northwestern was hot garbage. I don't think I mentioned college football to Chris the whole fall. They were like 2-10. I remember going, I watched first game, I said, I'll see y'all next year. I know we'll be better, but I was like, we're not getting it. I saw the first couple of games. I said,
it wasn't good.
We got some growing to do. But to get back to Alabama and Mac Jones, I mean, I think it's such a vested thing. I think it's really fun for you to have a guy that's coming out of Duval, man. Like that kind of makes it a little bit easier to watch him win because I know the character of that town, man, just through you and the type of player that comes out of there. And I thought he played his ass off and all in the Iron Bowl last year. He just got outplayed.
He threw 4 or 5 touchdowns. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Last year, he threw about 5 touchdowns in the Iron Bowl. Granted, with that defense that Auburn had last year, Bo Nix played his ass off. Like that entire secondary for Auburn, that barnyard ass school down south, they played their ass off. That shit ain't happened this year, though. So let me get into the ignorance. The revenge tour is in full fucking fledged right now. Guess what? We just got LSU put back on the schedule. Do we need to? No, because the game really doesn't matter because even if we lose to LSU, we still got a game up on everybody else. Did we want LSU back on the schedule? You are fucking right. Here's why. I don't give a damn if you had 8 first-round draft picks go to the league last year and the team is depleted because of COVID. Nah, that shit don't matter. The shit they pulled on us last year, granted, they won. They were, honestly, they'll go down as one of the top college football teams of all time.
Ever. Like, that's just.
But the pettiness.
And it did in Tuscaloosa, too.
I got to have my.
And your boy got you. And that soundbite was fantastic.
I got to have my – you got to run it back. Like, that's the whole thing. Like when you shooting dice with people at the park or whatever and dude done hit you – buddy done hit you for about $200-$300. Hey, cuz, nah, you're not leaving here with all my money, man. Run them bitches back. That's what it is. I need my rematch, bro. Like, I don't give a damn that you had 45 guys with COVID. All right. We'll go 7-on-7 in the park. Whatever it is, I want my rematch, bro. Like, you going to have to run them hands or something. Like, Ed Ogeron got to see me, bro. Like, it ain't no wait till 2021 when there may be a vaccine. Nah, bro, we can go 5-on-5 at the local elementary in Baton Rouge right now. You going to play us. You going to see us. You going to take this L. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, most of that team from Alabama's team came back. Granted, you know who we lost. It is what it is. The core guys came back, and they remember all that shit you were talking when you guys are riding the bus around the entire stadium talking shit, talking to the recruits, talking about coming to LSU, the Alabama dynasty's dead. Nah, you won't have to see me for that. I don't give a damn. You could, all that. Nah, that shit's cute. Nah, but you got to fight me, bro. Period. I'm over that. Nah, I don't give a damn about COVID, bro. I get it. I know how serious it is. I know it is a pandemic, and it is costing people their lives. But fuck all that. You got to see me in Baton Rouge, 8 o'clock Eastern time, in your stadium, and you're going to take this ass with me. And we're going to run the score up. I don't give a damn how many guys I don't give a damn if you only got 7 guys eligible to play. All 7 of them going to take this ass with me.
Well, I turned it off. You know what I'm going to do, Chris, just so I keep my eye on it while we're talking? It was on my TV in the background, but I might as well just put on the Zoom in the background and just see what's going on with that LSU
A&M game?
A&M game. Because it was 10-0 when you and I got on the mic. So
which brings me to this. I'm gonna ask this question. Mm-hmm. Ohio State had to forfeit. Well, not forfeit, but they had a COVID game today, so they had to not play that one. What happens now if A&M wins out? Because they're 5, and technically, I don't think by the rules that the Big Ten set, technically Ohio State doesn't have enough games.
They have to play the next 2 weeks in order to be eligible. That's
okay.
That's why today. That's why I'm a little bit crestfallen. Like I'm a little sad because it was like you get through this game, to see. That's the point, Chris, and that's why I'm trying to stop you from trying to go into Northwestern. Because if I haven't had the conversation, I don't care what ESPN says. I don't care what everybody been talking about today. I want you to tell America, and our text message chain, you and Mike Bazemore, after we won that game, we were 5-0, and I was very happy. What did I say? What did I text in that? I said, ain't nobody.
You said that the Michigan State game was a trap game. Is exactly what you said.
I said, listen, man, as many times as we've beaten those dudes in the last 10, like we have beaten them guys on homecoming in their building with less to play for. You understand what I'm saying? Like with less to play for, with not as good of a defense. You know what I'm saying? I knew that shit. Look, all we had to do was survive that. If that game was in Chicago, it would have been nothing. But I knew that game being in East Lansing. What did Michigan State have to play for? And
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
I couldn't believe McGowan's our best player, and I could not believe he fumbled that ball back. So I don't want to overtake it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
But I think the thing with Ohio State is very simply, this is what I said from the jump. If you weren't going to play, the best thing for you to do was to just sit the whole thing out, because now look what it does to the Big Ten. You're going to have Indiana playing Northwestern, which is for me a dream scenario. Because for me, I get what I want. Something I never thought I would see. A legit opportunity to win the Big Ten, and then guess what? Ain't no asterisks.
That's what I was about. That's what I was about to say. So here's the bullshit that you like to spin. So, mind you, I said in the beginning of the season, like, oh, this is gonna be one of our better teams. We got a chance to win the whole thing. The first thing you said was with an asterisk. But then, God forbid, I said, well, what if Northwestern gets in and wins the whole thing? Oh, then the whole season counts.
Oh yeah, easily, 100%. We win the Big. Hey, if Northwestern wins a Big Ten championship while I'm alive, this is like
oh my God.
Like, it's not like, I can't even say it's like Chicago Cubs, because the Chicago Cubs are beloved around the world.
Yeah,
this is a personal Chicago Cubs thing for me. If I were to see Northwestern win a Big Ten championship while I was alive, there's no need for me to watch college football anymore. Nobody, that is the epitome of Kanye West. When he dropped, you can't tell me nothing. What are you going to tell me? Like, what can you say? What can you say? There's nothing, like anything you say, I'm going to go, doesn't matter. Like,
here's my thing. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Can I talk shit to you if Alabama runs the table, beats the shit out of Clemson, and then beats Notre Dame in the national championship, but you win the Big Ten? Can I still talk shit to you?
You can say whatever you want about any of that stuff, but is it going to faze me about Northwestern? We won the Big Ten. You don't think I'm going to the Rose Bowl?
Oh my God! Oh shit!
You don't think
that's
I'm going
right?
To the Rose Bowl?
That's right.
Listen, all them times I had to watch Bays go to the Rose Bowl and take. You think I'm not fucking going to the Rose Bowl? Look at that! Look at it. There's my first F-bomb. Sorry, Mom. So I'm just letting you know. But this is like, see, this is the thing you've done, and this is why I'm actually proud of you in this segment, because you said what you had to say. Because the bottom line is, yes, there's a certain path they're going to have to go. As of right now, the way that they're playing, offensively and defensively, versus, let's call it what it is, it's the worst the SEC West has ever been.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the fact they're beating up on everybody, I thought Auburn was going to give them a game. I didn't think they were going to win. I like messing with you, but I was like, nah. Listen, I've told you what time it's going to be. There's only one team that can run with these guys and give them a game.
Yeah.
And I said it months ago, and I'm going to end up being right. You know who it is. Dan Mullen is the only guy that's got a team that has the athletes on one side of the ball where they might be able to score with you guys.
I agree 1,000% with you.
That's when we're going to have the conversation about how good this Alabama team is, because they haven't played anybody. Wait, did they play Texas A&M and I missed that? Because I didn't start watching. I only watched Northwestern.
We gave A&M their one loss, and we beat them by 28.
Okay, so you have played one good team. So
right. No.
A&M's a good team.
But we beat Georgia by 28 too.
I told you how I feel about Georgia. Like, you guys like to call people to Georgia. Ain't nobody been worried about Georgia this year. Nobody. This is not. You think a team like Georgia can compete in COVID times? with the way they are, they need every practice known to man.
But Georgia at the same time is still a top 5 defense. And that was at the time, statistically,
who did I say at the time? Who did I say at the time? Who did I tell you was going to win that side of the conference? What did I tell you?
You said Florida.
And Florida is still what?
They're one game ahead on the East.
They are undefeated, is my point. I told you what time it is. Since you guys don't play each other this year.
No.
That's where it's going to be decided.
Now, we were supposed to. This was our Florida spin this year. Now, I will say this. Florida is a very scary team. But they don't scare me as much as LSU did last year. And they don't.
Correct.
And I know that. Listen, I know that
you gotta let go of LSU last year.
I can't.
I understand that. Nobody's gonna be scared of anybody like they were scared of LSU last year because you had no chance. You had no chance. Tua played nearly perfect, and you guys still lost.
Yeah.
In your building.
Yeah.
Let it go. And you guys actually only lost by like 1 score. It was a good football game. Tua played out. I think it was the best college football game he ever played.
Yeah.
Was that game. And you still lost. That's how good Joe Burrow. Like, let it go.
I can't.
Let that go. You're gonna get to go down to Baton Rouge. You're gonna get the opportunity to do that. We'll have a ball after that. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right.
Let you get in it. You know what I mean? Because for me, it's not a matter of if they win. It's a matter of what's the spread and if they're going to cover it. You know what I mean?
So let me say this. I'll say this.
But and I'm going to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I just want to finish the point.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is the point I've been making with you about this team that you feel like is going to just run roughshod. They don't start playing good football teams until the SEC championship, which will be Florida. Florida's not going to cough this up. It's not going to happen. Georgia's not good enough. Kyle Trask is solid enough to get it done. Because you know what? Hey, Chris, it's literally, you've seen this. It was like when Tua walked into that game, every Alabama fan in the world. I love how I just be doing like Star Trek and shit.
Star Trek.
I'm over here starting to do Pharrell and Chad when I'm talking to you now. But it was just like when Tua walked in that game versus Georgia those few years back. And y'all were like, well, we ain't got nothing to lose. I mean, he can't do any worse than this. I mean, he's a freshman. So
exactly.
That's what I think Florida presents to you. And you should be slightly worried. I need you to be overconfident because it makes for great television for me. But as a football player, you should know better. That type of quarterback with that type of coach who has had a number 1 ranking before. Don't forget, America, and I'm going to help you guys. Dan Mullen at one point was coaching a number 1 ranked team in the SEC West.
Mississippi State.
He's the reason Dak Prescott is made the $31 million and got there. That's all Dan Mullen. Because out of Mississippi State, word? That's not an SEC school that has a history of a lot of players that we know of in our folklore of being great players. Like, they don't have that type of history. Like, they're in the SEC. They play good football. You know, they usually come out of Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? So that's a team you need to be worried about, man. Like, you know, I don't know their schedule. I almost need to start paying attention to them now because now I'm starting to put all this weight on them. Like, I need you to just compete. I don't need them to win because I'm going to tell you right now.
Let me tell you my level of concern.
We need Alabama Clemson in the playoff. Like, we just need that to happen.
Yeah.
We need it. I think just for the emphasis of we need to see the shoe on the other foot because I've seen 1-loss Alabama teams come back in. And I think for it to prove to you what I told you before this show, I mean, the show was in our mind concept, since 2010.
Yeah.
But I told you this when Deshaun Watson lost him the first. I said, "Oh, you got problems."
I agree. You did say that.
I told you that.
I will give you all your credit on that because you even said you were very specific about it. You even said if y'all see them again, this dude is going to try to avenge like a death, pretty much, which he did.
It was the exact same game, and he had the ball last. Those are two of the best college football games in the last. They were
even though that was a fucking pick play and they should have threw a flag on it, but I'm not bitter about it. It's not like I still hold grudges.
Yes,
that's why we. I do. I'm petty as shit. Fuck Clemson.
Come on back. I took a lot of fall from you. Come on back. This is your.
You're good. You're good. So here's my level of concern about the University of Florida. First and foremost, I just want to send a special shout out to my brother and say, fuck you. First of all, love you to death, Eric Turner II. I love you to death.
What's up, Biggie? What's up,
this part of the show you're not going to like. Honestly, you may not like any part of the show because all I do is talk about Alabama. Anyway, he's still mad that I didn't go to the University of Florida out of high school. He's still a little bitter about that shit. Anyway.
Well, there was no Spurrier. I wouldn't have went either.
They had Ron Zook, dude. No. Anyway.
I wouldn't have went either.
So here's my level of concern. All the thing I have to go by is what I see, and I have to go by common opponents, okay? They played Texas A&M, and they lost. And they had all of their guys at that time. We played A&M at A&M and beat them by 28. Okay? We played Georgia. They beat them by 28. We beat them by 28. Okay? Kentucky. I think they beat them by, I want to say about 30. I think you might be looking it up. But we beat them bad. They beat them bad.
Oh, yeah. My bad. I'm sorry about that. I thought Florida was still undefeated. My apologies.
No, yeah. They took the loss to A&M.
That's how you know I'm not paying attention at all this year. Sorry. Keep going, Chris.
So the common opponents we have are A&M, who they lost to. We beat them by 28. Kentucky, we beat them bad. They beat them bad. Georgia, we beat them by 28. They beat them by 28. The Tennessee game, we beat them bad, but Florida has not played Tennessee yet. And that's the common opponents we have. Now, we were both supposed to play LSU, but because they're on the west side, we'll get a chance to play them, and they won't get that second chance to play them. So only thing I have to go by is what we have in common, and it's the A&M game. Now, they didn't match up well against A&M. I don't know how, but they didn't. And to go by the eye test, their tight end is a problem. And
we talked about trash on the show a couple times.
Yeah.
You know what? And that says something because when Chris brings up an offensive player, that's saying something.
And here's the thing: their tight end is a problem. Honestly, he's more of a problem than any of their receivers. Like, this kid is a problem because he's not a good matchup for anything on the field. We have one guy, maybe two, that could possibly cover him, but if we put the one guy on him, then that's our best pass rusher. If we put the other guy on him, Patrick Surtain on him, then that's our best cover corner. So are you going to put your best cover corner on a tight end?
He's gonna make a lot of money. He's going to a really good team that just happens to need a tight end number one. I can do a little bit of this. He's going to put on 15 pounds in the offseason.
Yep.
This kid's got a chance. Like, he's receiving because his receiving skills
ridiculous.
His route running is just there. So,
and what's scary about the kid is the fact that he's going to go in the late first round. Now, if you know anything about football in the draft, if you go in the late first round, that means you go to a team that they need you, but if they don't have you, they're still good. All you're doing is your sprinkles on top of the ice cream. So God forbid he goes to a Pittsburgh Steelers, because that'll be around the time they can draft. It'll be
at this rate, yeah.
Honestly,
That's a phenomenal place. That's Chris. You're already thinking that's genius.
It is.
Get him in there with Claypool and Juju. They're young. Get them a running back to go with. I mean, I think they really like Benny Snell. I think Benny Snell's got a chance.
Oh, Benny Snell's a great damn running back.
I think Benny's got a chance to really take that job because James is just hurt too much. I think they're gonna lean on Benny probably next year. So
he can end up in Seattle, which is scary all by itself. The kid could end up in St. Louis. I'm not St. Louis, but in LA. Like all these teams, like there's the Tennessee Titans that could use him. The Colts could use him. Like he's going to end up somewhere with the
Colts are good, but no, I like your thought process. I mean, give McVay another weapon.
Exactly.
Give him 3 tight ends that can catch and see the sets he puts on when he's got 3 tight ends and 2 wide receivers on the field at all times.
Jesus Christ.
And running no wide, handing the ball to Trask or some shit like that on end arounds.
Like the kid can turn into a legit H-back and like it'll get real scary real quick.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to college football, and I'll fully wrap this thing up because I know I've been talking for a minute. The Pac-12, I hope honestly, for the sake of the show, I hope that the Big Ten sends you guys to the championship, you win it, and then you end up in the Rose Bowl so you can go watch Northwestern beat the shit out of UCLA or USC or whoever. I hope for you, I hope that happens.
Can we stop the show? You'll never say anything nicer than what you just
I won't, and I know, but outside of being drunk and saying some ignorant shit at your wedding, that is the nicest thing I will ever say to you. So
that's the nicest thing you will ever say about, and I'm grateful that. I want to thank Screwball. Screwball, only you could get that type of confidence. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, that was heartfelt. That was sincere. Like, this guy is riding a high. Like, he knows all we have to do is get through the SEC championship, and it's us and Clemson. Because it's going to be – because Clemson will be – actually, you know what? Let's pivot to that. Let's pivot to that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna pivot it to you. Alabama wins out.
Okay.
Like you're expecting. I believe that's probably going to happen. I would personally put all my money on Florida to cover the spread. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to be talking about gambling stuff, but nonetheless. So Alabama, we're going to play this as Alabama wins out, which would mean obviously they're going to be the clear-cut number 1.
Right.
Now, the way you said it is, when we talked about them earlier, like you saw the path as we're going to play Clemson first. You believe Clemson would be the 4 seed.
Yeah.
If Clemson beats Notre Dame, like we all know it's going to happen. Like let's stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Like and I want to do this honestly because I'm a nice guy. First of all, my brother-in-law is a huge Irish fan. I don't even think he listens to the show. It's episode 1. I think he heard Chris go in. And he was like, "Walt, I love that you do what you do, but
that other guy,
the way that guy talked about Notre Dame, I just don't know, man. I don't know about him. You guys are going to get to meet each other. It'll be hilarious. No, he's and that's my brother-in-law, Chris Cassidy, who lives in the suburbs of Jacksonville now. So he lives in Duval County. So, but the way I see it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you think that the committee will see and obviously go, well, it was a different game when Trevor Lawrence played, and all they have to do is win by. It's not like they have to blow him out.
No,
that game went into overtime with that kid, and I think that kid's going to be nice.
Yeah, I agree.
We're going to see how good Dabo is, in the next year or two with his recruiting. We're going to see how good it really is when they retool and they lose some guys. But if they beat Notre Dame, I think you're right. I think the way that you're already saying Notre Dame gets in, I honestly think you're 100% right. Based on the fact that if the Big Ten ends up being Northwestern versus Indiana. Notre Dame just wrote their ticket in.
Yep.
So to me, like we almost got to play like what ifs here.
Yeah, I'm with it. Let's do it.
So you think that on all that Clemson, why would Clemson? I don't see Clemson being 4. I would see Clemson being 2 or 3. In that situation.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to come back to it.
If and when Alabama wins out, that's how I see it. That's how most of the
we're
the
doing
South
the
see it.
scenario that Alabama is undefeated and they've won the SEC championship.
Right.
So they're clear cut 1. We're just doing 2 through 4.
All right. So they went out. They're number 1. All right. Here comes the more hypotheticals with everything, and this is where the bunch of the ifs come in.
Yeah, you're right. All this is ifs. It's a good point.
Yeah. So if Ohio State has to COVID another game or whatever else, and the Big Ten comes down to you guys in Indiana, then that winner goes to the Rose Bowl, and it's not even considered for the top 4. Then it comes down to Notre Dame wins. If they beat Clemson, Notre Dame is now number 2. Then comes a bunch of other ifs. And if Notre Dame wins, if Notre Dame wins, it makes things a lot easier. Because if Notre Dame wins, then you'll have Notre Dame number 2. You'll have either Florida or Texas A&M as, matter of fact, you're right. You'll have Clemson number 3 because they'll get the Alabama treatment. Then you'll have either Florida or Texas A&M at number 4. Now, let me play the adverse of that. If Clemson wins, here comes the shit show. Because if Clemson wins, Clemson then goes to number 2. Now I don't know what the hell happens because you got a one-loss SEC West school. You got a 2-loss SEC East champion, essentially. And then you got a 1-loss Notre Dame. I don't know because as much as the country loves SEC football, most of the country loves SEC football, what would happen is the whole SEC bias would come up again, and nobody wants to see if they put Alabama, Clemson.
The whole country loves SEC football?
I said most of the southern half. I'm sorry. Most of the southern half of the country loves SEC football. Oh.
You mean most of the southern eastern corner? What you mean? What southern? You think they love old Miss in Albuquerque, New Mexico, dude? Like what?
Hey, let me correct it.
Okay.
So,
listen, you said something interesting. And I'm going to throw this at you. And I'm going to predict it right now.
Go ahead.
It will drive you nuts because I feel like this is what would happen. And I'm saying this with a straight face. One, because I don't believe it's even going to happen. But if it does happen, this is how it'll play out. If Notre Dame beats Clemson again, they will be the number 1 overall seed. You need to really, really understand that. It's not going to matter because 1 or 2, either way, it's basically
right.
halfway to the title game.
Right.
But the fact that you might have to possibly go into that game and be the number 2, that's I'm telling you right now, if they beat Clemson twice, they will be number 1 overall in the playoff. So you need to change your thinking a little bit because you know I'm right. Because
if they beat Clemson twice,
which they're not going to do, so we're not going to worry about it.
No.
But
if they do it twice,
I want to see. That's what I see. This is what we call covering your tracks.
If they
I'm the one
do it
saying
twice,
that it won't happen. But if they beat Clemson twice, if they beat Trevor Lawrence, that means they beat one of the best players in the history of college football.
I'm not even going to take it like that. If they beat Clemson twice, that means they beat the number 1 school And then that means they beat the number 3 school in the country.
In the same year, which means their strength schedule, even the mathematics adds to it and then they beat North Carolina, who's been ranked all year.
They've been in the top 15, top 20.
So they get the benefit of the doubt because the schedule is so skewed because of the fact that, once again, the season is an asterisk, dude. Like, that's what I keep trying to say.
No, you keep trying to say it's an asterisk if other shit happens. It's not an asterisk if fucking Northwestern pulls his Big Ten championship out their ass.
Northwestern, I was hoping they would clinch that spot. Today they didn't. They win next week. They're in the Big Ten championship. We're in the Big Ten championship no matter what next week. Chris, that's the math. The math, Northwestern wins the Big Ten West. We're in the Big Ten championship. All I want is a seat at the Big Ten championship table. I don't have any aspirations for this team to win a title.
You're a terrible individual.
Do you know what type of recruiting Oprah would have to do? Do you know how much money Oprah would have to give? And not get caught? You know I'm right. It's not like we don't have the money or the boosters.
That's a fact.
I mean, we've got boosters. Okay, like that is not the issue with Northwestern. You know, we talk about boosters and all that. I mean, who's got a better alumni than Northwestern when it comes to money?
Hold on. I want to point out something. You bring up a good point. Now, for those of you who didn't play college football or college sports in general, there's a lot of money that changes hands legally and illegally in college football, especially in college sports. Now, I'm not going to – all this is allegedly, okay? I may have gotten a couple handshakes and envelopes and duffel bags and all that stuff in my day, allegedly.
I'm glad Basie come on this show.
Allegedly.
Hey,
but
are you basically saying some things because of the fact you guys already got not penalized but penalized?
Hey.
I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna say the kid's whole name, but Albert, you a whole snitch, and I don't appreciate you because you're the reason why we got put on probation. So I'm not gonna say your whole name because you transferred to University of Memphis. Look up the story. He got the money and then he transferred. So whatever. Anyway. So the money that's at the University of Alabama is farm money, it's oil money, it's tire money.
NFL money.
NFL money. And mind you, the NFL money is like last on the list. That's how bad it is.
Totem pole, yeah.
Because if you drive a Ford right now, a Ford or a Dodge, then your car is on Dunlap tires. Mike Dunlap, the CFO of Dunlap Tires, graduated from the University of Alabama. Thomas Dunlap graduated from Ole Miss University. So we got some money tied up in the university. I say that to say this. None of that means shit in comparison to the money that's at Northwestern University at all.
Hey,
because it's Oprah. It's Oprah.
Like Oprah, honestly, 10% of what Oprah's worth could make Northwestern like the powerhouse in the country for 10 years running. If she could find a way to, you know what? Oprah needs to watch Ozark, and we need to find a way to wash this money.
If Oprah just,
hey, listen, but if Northwestern started for real getting 5 stars, everybody'd be like, guilty. There's no way.
If Oprah just got bored one year, she said, you know what? I want Northwestern to win a national championship. She can go out and buy the top 25 of the next recruiting class easily and not even like break money out of her checkbook. Like that's the sad part about it.
Yeah, it don't like I would hope to one day be like I would love for this show to make us like 100,000aires. If that was our peak, I'd be very happy making 6 figures. Talking trash with my best friend the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Okay. Now put this in podcast for a second. Joe Rogan's getting what, like 500 million? Something like that? Shout out
It's
Joe
ridiculous,
Rogan.
yeah.
Because Joe Rogan's show, I love their show. Because I mean, Joe Rogan just talk whatever. Like they talked about elk meat for 30 minutes. I love it. him and Ashley Larry talking about elk meat before Dave crashed it. Shout out Dave Chappelle. And Dave, I want to let you know on Wax, since you asked us to stop watching, I have not watched Chappelle's show, and I will not watch Chappelle's show unless I buy the DVD again. So,
which I have the DVD. So if I'm gonna watch anything, it'll be the DVDs.
So salute to you, Dave, because you mean a lot to me. I'll watch the stuff that you've been paid for. So all your Netflix specials, good with that. HBO specials, I'll get on YouTube. But if Oprah was just like, you know what, here's 50 million, do whatever, they would still have like 42 million left over. Like it doesn't take a whole lot to buy a championship.
No.
Like y'all, it doesn't, like, I mean, like players only need to just, hey, listen, I just need a little bit of this. And I mean, like, I don't know about these young cats out here now, man, but listen, okay, here's a D2 equivalent to this, and I'm still paying for this to this day. Because mine's 100% legal. Like, there was nothing wrong. My mom was like, you know what, baby, you obviously got school paid for. I was getting the refund check back, you know what I'm saying, when I was in school for D2 because we only had 39 full-ride scholarships. So I think I was like the only full-ride guy on my team. And I think they knew better because I think they knew and I might as well put this on Wax. I'm going to see all these
Put some respect on it. Put some respect on it.
And, I think I've told a couple in passing, but this is the truth. And I'm going to tell this story on Wax because it just plays until the fact this is a college football conversation. I basically messed up my own chances to play in the NFL because it fell into my lap. This is a very simple story. So after my redshirt freshman year, we were 6-5. We were a good team. I was playing behind NFL prospect. My boy Alfonso Pugh, we called him Punch. You'll meet him at the wedding too. And Punch was legit. Dusty Burke, my quarterback that I played with in Bloomington, all region player, because Division II, Chris, we have all conference, we have like all district or like all region at Division II. I don't know if you knew that, but you could be all region, yeah. then it goes to All American. That's how they do in D2. They be trying to make you feel real good with all sorts of awards.
You made the all-state team in college.
Hey, you know what? You know what's crazy? I talk all this trash. Do you ever hear me talk about Truman State like football?
No.
Chris, I was never even all conference on my team.
Oh my God.
Not once. Not even honorable mention. Never made it all conference.
Oh God.
That's the truth. But check this out though. So after my freshman year, I was playing against I was coming off the bench, and this is like Afro James Day. Like I had like the Afro flowing that day. I had to get my braids done. So it was Afro, and I was 19. I think I had a Nike earring in one ear. I had like
wow.
It was that era. Like it was like I'm excited for you to meet some of my college teammates so they can just talk trash about me. So you could be like, what dumb shit was he doing? But I could still see that he was doing when I got to him.
You had a Nike earring?
Oh, yeah, I had Nike earrings.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I had Nike earrings, man. Lost them, but I had them. Dude, man, like, I get it, man. I get it. I wear Space Jam long sleeve T-shirts now that are tie-dye. I get it, but Chris, there was a time, man, I was from the crib, dude. Like, I'm from the go. Like, I was wearing Nike earrings and had fresh Air Force Ones on like it was my job. Putting creases in my jeans, you know what I'm saying? Headband on one ear. Come on now, man. Dude, I was all right. And then college ruined me. I was like, oh, sweatpants?
All the
Get a
time.
WhatsApp? I was like, so I don't have to try and I can get a WhatsApp? I was like, okay, that's crap. Once that happened at 19, I said, well, that's the end of that. No, so get back to the story. I might have been drunk yet, America, but basically, Central Missouri State was like one of the better Division II programs when I was in college, and they were notorious for getting like D1 guys that didn't have grades. So they would get guys that were 3-4-star guys that were supposed to play D1, but they would play there. So my redshirt freshman year, I had a decent game off the bench, caught a couple fades on an all-league corner at like 180 pounds and just wiggle and vertical. And one of my teammates had transferred. He comes over to me. He goes, hey, listen, I'm telling you right now, because they sent me over here to tell you. You need to transfer over here because they like you. And on top of this, I was already an All-American in track, and they had one of the best D2 track programs in the country. So they were like, dude, but we haven't figured out. So because you're not on track scholarship, like you'll run track. In D2, you have to sit out a year when you transfer. So I was going to lose my sophomore year. But I would have ran track, I would have probably practiced, and then I would have played my junior and senior years and been there. Chris, this is why I blew it. Do you know who transferred in during that year and played 2 years? Delaney Walker. So on one side would have been Delaney Walker. On the other side would have been yours truly. So you're telling me with how good, because he was, listen, statistically, I was better. I was, statistically. Football player-wise, that dude was a monster. I was like, especially when once I was like, you know, because basically it was him or me, and we were two different body types, obviously. He played the slot in college, Chris.
That's a problem.
He played the slot, and this dude was in a three-point stance his first year in San Francisco, where I was like, oh, yeah, he's a way better football player. What three-point stance you going to get me in at 6'3"? I barely looked 210 back then. You know how much fried chicken I was eating to get to 215?
Oh, God.
So basically, I would have played with Delaney Walker for 2 years, and because of how good he was, that means
you would have got attention.
I would have had single coverage for 2 years, which means I caught 84 balls in my junior and senior year. I probably would have caught 160. Probably would have had about 2,500 yards. Had like 11, 12 touchdowns. I probably would have had 25. Because you couldn't guard me man-to-man by the time I figured out my body. You know, and I figured out how to actually get some strength to go with the 4-4. Because I was 4-4 then. I was 4-3 with youth, but I was 4-4 in college. 4-4-1 all day. So that's how I blew the league. All I had to do was transfer. But I love my friends. I was loyal, man. See, if I'd have had some Chris Turner in me, I'd have been out of there. Because I think Central was giving them, you know, it was.
Listen, I will say this, and not to implicate any school, not to implicate any of my friends, Mike Bazemore. My best friend in high school, his name was Ronnie Big Lucky Lumford. I think I talked about him before on this show. Big Lucky was the #1 offensive tackle in the country. Right, not the state of Florida, but in the country. And as an offensive tackle, he was ranked #4 overall in the country. This man looked at me and told me his freshman year at Florida State, my senior year of school. He came back because they had a bye week. He came back home. That man looked at me and said, listen, if they ain't offering cash, they can kiss your ass. And I followed those words to a T. Now, I'm not saying that I ever took $1 from any school in the country, but what I am saying is that man said if they not offering cash, they should kiss your ass.
You over here trying to strip people of titles. Like you like Alabama's number 17. I'm starting to really see some pettiness in you
Oh, it's there. Oh,
Joe Burrow has really brought out the pettiness in you.
By far.
Did you cheer a little bit inside when he got a knee injury? Kelly almost cried.
You got damn right. I laughed. I laughed from a deep, dark place, too.
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. America, you got to have some serious asshole in you. For that kid, he had already been sacked like 50 times, man.
I laughed from a dark place in my soul.
I hope they trade Joe Burrow to Miami someday.
No.
Would you? Oh, there it is. We had the other. If Joe Burrow became the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, would you not be a Dolphins fan?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll put this on wax right now. If Joe Burrow got traded to the Miami Dolphins, I'll even go a step further, and he leads them to an undefeated season and take them to the Super Bowl and they win, I will be the biggest Jacksonville Jaguar fan you've ever seen in your goddamn life. Period.
No.
I can't do it.
It's that bad?
I can't do it.
America, I want you to understand this, what he's saying. If Aaron Rodgers came to the Bears, I would buy an Aaron Rodgers jersey so fast.
Yo, I can't do it.
If LeBron James came to the Bulls at 41 years old, I would have every LeBron James jersey. I actually had Cleveland. Okay, LeBron don't count. I had a LeBron jersey. So
I did too. I've had a couple.
I love LeBron. Like I hate that people think I hate LeBron. I hated him for 4 years. I didn't hate him. hated that damn jersey. And listen, that meant hating Dwayne too. Like, do you know how hard it is to hate somebody that's from your city?
Who's as lovable as Dwayne Wade is? That's the sad part about it.
Yeah, it's D Wade. Like D Wade is Chicago. You know what I mean? It was easy to hate Isaiah. I was a kid. I didn't even know Isaiah was from Chicago until I got older. I said, "Oh, he was doing that to us, and he's from the crib."
Old Zeke, baby.
But listen, America, let it be known right now, because we're gonna get ready to jump off this, get into some other topics. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll get Chris to put a shirt on. I don't know, man. I had him over here when he had them glasses on. He over there looking like Chico Bean on steroids, boy, with that hat on. Hey, shout out I-85, man. Chico.
85 South, Miller, baby. 85 South.
Yeah, 85 South. Chico and Carlos Miller and DC Young Fly, man. Them guys are special, man. Those guys have always been hilarious to me. I love them guys, man. For sure. I mean, Chico probably saw it. He was like, dude, I need to use that, you know what I'm saying? I need to get up with that dude, get on his program, you know what I'm saying? But listen, all I know is Chris Turner deserves some roses right now, because that was a shellacking of a game. And that's why he got the Alabama's undefeated, because they are the number one seed. And as long as things go the way that they should be, Alabama's going to basically be able to do what they have to do, and they're going to be in that national championship game. Because I don't think there's one team that can beat them. And honestly, it'll just come down to, if Mac Jones just plays the way he's played all year, they can't beat him. That's the truth, and I hate to do that. It has nothing to do with what happened to my team, but it is, man. Like Mac Jones, it's like we talked about with Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not putting Mac Jones in no. But it's what we talked about with that MVP conversation. It's like everybody keeps wanting to jump needles, but here's the one guy that's shown up every week, and he has put up great numbers every week. Consistently. And nobody's talking about him being the Heisman Trophy winner. They're talking about it today because of what Trevor Lawrence did today. But Mac Jones killed him on the stat sheet today, murdered him. But, you know, they were playing Pitt, you know. So he played a ranked team. And I think we should close with this on this one. This was a long one, but it had to be. We're going to jump into some other shit, because there's some shit I want to talk about. We got some time tonight, Americans. We're gonna knock some episodes out. But I want you to talk about just what the Iron Bowl really means to college football, man. And let's sign off on that and let you have the final word about Alabama being undefeated and how that game basically is. I think outside of the hype, there's only one other game I can think of, rivalry, which was the Miami-Florida State rivalry of the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
This has turned into that in the last 10, 20 years.
So I'll give you the insight on it. So, like, I'm from Florida, born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. The Florida State game is different, whereas because the Florida State game, it's more so about recruiting than anything else. With the Florida State Miami game, it's honestly the real hatred between essentially North Florida and South Florida. The difference between those rivalry games in the Iron Bowl, the Alabama-Auburn game, the Alabama-Auburn game legitimately splits your family in half. Because whereas it's like that, I say the school in the South and all the other shit about Auburn or whatever, but it's only an hour and a half drive. And honestly, it's every year the same recruits are being fought over. The same high schools are being visited. Like, a lot of relationships in the state of Alabama are the husbands from one school, the wives from the other school, or the brother-in-laws from this school, the sister-in-laws from that. Like, it legitimately splits the family in half. Like, in Florida, you can have people that are, like, from North Florida. Okay, you're either a Florida State fan. And then if you're in South Florida, then you love Miami. At the Alabama-Auburn game, it doesn't matter because you could be in Montgomery, you can be in Prattville, you can be in Tuscaloosa and be an Auburn fan, and vice versa down in Dothan, in Auburn, and be a Bama fan. Like, it legit is a house divided. Like, those shirts came out a couple years ago. It's honestly true because there's nothing else to do in Alabama. Like, you either love Alabama or you love Auburn. Even if you went to Alabama State, Alabama A&M, that shitty-ass school, UAB, fuck you, Tay.
We're gonna get him on the show at some point because watching you two go at it could be some of the best television we've ever had. It really could be. I like how even if you television. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Even if you went to UAB, like all these other small schools, the HBCUs there, like, you had to pick one. Even if that's not the school you're at, like, you had to pick either you're Auburn or you're Alabama. And whatever you pick, that's what you die with. So, like, it's legitimately a house divided. And it's honestly because, all due respect to Auburn, like, the schools have been so good over the last 15, 20 years that it's become a national primetime game that hasn't faded. So even when my years when Alabama wasn't great, it was still a primetime game, unlike a Michigan State game. But, like, the games have always been competitive, and it doesn't bang, bang. It doesn't matter what the record was.
Pew, pew, pew.
Because it always came down to they had their guys, we had our guys. They had Scam Newton, we got Derrick Henry. Like, it's always been something that made the rivalry bigger than what it is. So I will say, with all bias and no bias whatsoever, like, it's the best rivalry in football right now.
And with that, America, we're going to sign off to this because my sister just sent me a Michigan State text. I just saw it on my phone, and I'm fired up. But no, I just want to let it be known, Michigan State, good win. You earned it fair and square. I watched it. We basically fumbled the game to you. You deserve to win. Enjoy this one. I just feel bad for Chris Turner because he technically has to feel good for Michigan State because Mel's one of his guys. It's always a catch-22 with you, brother. Now, here on
Saban assistant.
Good luck with this Saban coaching tree because it's everywhere.
It's every damn one.
But, America, we're coming back to talk about most stuff because me and Chris Turner ain't got nothing to do. And I ain't got to get up this early for the rest of the time here for the next couple of days. So, in closing, there's only one question that really needs to get answered. And Chris Turner, tell them what it is.
All people want to know is, what's good, America?
What's good, America?